What's good, Commanders fans? Training camp day 9, day 8 yesterday was a walkthrough. They did sign cornerback Devante Bausby, who played in the AAFL. He's played for like 9 teams, played for a bunch of teams in the NFL, practice squads. He's played in actual games and contributed as well. He plays slot nickel. He plays as nickel corner. Was an undrafted free agent out of Pittsburgh State. He is about 6'2", 290 pounds. His best year in the NFL was 2019 with the Denver Broncos, where he had a 72.3 pass coverage grade per PFF, which is pretty solid. No interceptions in his career, but he ran a 4.32 40-yard dash. Could be a depth piece, could be somewhat of a contributor. Who knows with the, knock on wood, with the injury bug the Commanders have caught in the secondary the last couple of years, especially last year. But he led the AAFL in interceptions before the league was suspended. And like I said, he played for the San Antonio Commanders. So hashtag Take Command was their hashtag for the San Antonio Commanders. So basically the Commanders kind of basically stole or copycatted that name and the hashtag as well. He had 4 interceptions in the AAFL before it was suspended, and he had a pick 2, which is a 2-point conversion, and ran it back for basically 2 points. He was the highest ranked corner in the AAFL per PFF. I'm like struggling to say AAFL, but that's the write up on him. So in the NFL, his best year, like I said, was 2019 with the Denver Broncos. He that year he only allowed a 53% completion percentage, and he only allowed a passer rating of 67.4 in 2019. But he played in 5 games, started in 2 games, and then in 2020 he played for the Cardinals and the Broncos. He started in 3 games, played in 11 games, and that 2020 year he gave up a passer rating of 102.5 and a completion percentage of 68.4. So kind of been up and down here and there. He did play for the Eagles as well. And in 2018, he played for the Bears. In 2016, there was a game in 2016 for the Bears where he made some key stops that they really needed against Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers. So that's the game where a lot of people remember him from, Devante Bausby. So we'll see if he makes the roster. Cornerback spot, they need some depth there for sure. So could they have gone with Chris Harris or another big name corner? We'll see. So, but let's get to the updates here in the play-by-play stuff. So tomorrow night is the open practice. I want to say it starts at 6, but I know I definitely will be there for sure. So I hope to see you guys. Definitely leave a comment below if you guys are going to be at the open practice at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. So this one's from JP Finley. He says Curtis Samuel and De'Ami Brown on the side field as the wide receiver group goes through individuals. So this is part of their plan to let him rest. So I guess he'll practice 1 day and then he'll rest 5 days. I guess that's their ramp up period for Curtis Samuel. So it is what it is on that part. I've talked about it enough. So I'm not going to say any more about it. So until week 1, I highly doubt he plays in the preseason though. Matt Parris says training camp day 9, a lengthy side field list today. Curtis Samuel, John Bates, Sadiq Charles, Troy Apke, DeJuan Neal, and De'Ami Brown on the side field. Zach Selby says Brian Robinson breaks loose down the left sideline for a 15-yard gain. Gets some applause from the crowd. So Brian Robinson's had a really good camp, man. I'm really excited to see the guy play. I mean, Charles Leno said that he's excited to block for a natural running back, end quote. So I don't want to take that as shade to Antonio Gibson, but Brian Robinson's a natural running back. He's played the position for forever, from high school and college. Antonio Gibson played it a little bit, but he's he played wide receiver for the most part, so he was more of a playmaker at Memphis. So Brian Robinson, he's a guy that's possibly would probably have better vision than Antonio Gibson, just being a natural running back. So JP Finlay says, with run install going for offense, the defense role with a 5-man front, Montez Sweat, Daron Payne, Fadarian Mathis, John Allen, and Casey Toohill. Of course, that would be Chase Young if he was healthy. But yeah, it's intriguing. I know they did the 5-man front last year. It did work at times. I know the defense as a whole just wasn't good. So hopefully it can work out this next year. So Zach Selby says Carson Wentz scrambled to the right before running out of bounds with Montez Sweat chasing him, screaming at Wentz saying, "Get rid of it, get rid of it." So a lot of people were laughing at that when Montez Sweat said, "Get rid of it, get rid of it." So Montez Sweat he's had a really good camp. I want to see him put it together this year. I don't think he was as bad as people said he was last year, like 4 or 5 sacks. I know you don't measure everything by sacks, but he missed a good amount of games last year with a jaw injury, and then of course the unfortunate event with his family happened. Not event, but a family member passed away, so he missed a missed a couple games last year. So I'm hoping that he can bounce back this year. Not thinking about the sack record. Ron Rivera talks about maturity, and that's something that him and Chase Young got to focus on. Montez Sweat, we know he has all the talent in the world, the size, the speed, strength, all that. He's just got to put it together this year for sure. Zach Selby says McKissick runs up the middle and met immediately by Percy Butler, who stands him up for no gain. So good to hear from Percy Butler. He could be that Buffalo nickel that they always talk about. He flies in like a missile. 4.3 speed. Chris Sims saying that he was the best safety in the draft, so we'll see. David Harrison says Cole Turner headed off the practice field after coming up holding his hamstring after an early rep in team drills. Logan Thomas and John Bates have been out as well, which makes Curtis Hodges your tight end one for the moment. So, Logan Thomas, we already know he's going to be out with John Bates, but some of the media was saying not to panic about Cole Turner with the hamstring thing today. It could be tightness or whatever, so we'll see, but it is, they may have to look to sign another tight end just for some depth there. I know there's some free agents out there. I know Eric Ebron is a big name free agent that I think is still out there. I know he dropped the ball a lot, but if injuries do pile up, knock on wood, then they may have to look at free agency to sign a tight end, to be honest. Zach Selby says 7-on-7s on one end of the field, one-on-one pass rush on the other. F.A. Obata just won his rep pretty easily against Aaron Montero. Ron Rivera was talking yesterday about how much F.A. Obata has improved his technique over the past 4 years. So F.A. Obata, from the international program, we signed him this offseason. He played in Carolina, played with the Bills. So, he could be a really good rotational pass rusher for the Washington Commanders this year. So familiarity with Ron Rivera. So we need somebody to step up with Chase Young being out. F.A. Obata, he can play interior D lineman and he can play on the outside. So I'm intrigued to see what he does. Zach Selby says Terry McLaurin just had a nice sideline grab from Carson Wentz with Danny Johnson defending. So Terry McLaurin making a play there. I saw a lot of people were just doing their best, fighting to get autographs from Terry McLaurin after practice. So he is the man of the hour for sure. He's the man of the hour. He really is. He's the face of the franchise in my opinion. Terry McLaurin is definitely the face of the franchise. Phyllis Tremel says noted in 11-on-11 linebackers were Cole Holcomb and David Mayo. Jamin was on the sideline. He came in with a 2. So I saw a lot of people on Twitter getting a little up in arms about this, that Jamin Davis was playing with the second team, that David Mayo starting over him in some drills and some team drills. I wouldn't get too worked up about it. I know it's disappointing if the coaching staff picks to play David Mayo and have more snaps over Jamin Davis. I know that would be disappointing to have an older veteran and David Mayo playing over Jamin Davis. But I heard Jamin Davis had a good practice for the most part. This guy, Phyllis Trammell, he works for the radio, 1340 AM Fox Sports. So he was there at training camp. He had a couple tweets. But yeah, that's what I'm going to say about Jamin. But we do need to see improvement from last year. Definitely reading and reacting and diagnosing plays and better tackling and not getting stuck on blocks for sure. And being solid in coverage. That's what we needed. So basically almost everything is what we need to see from Jamin Davis in improvement areas this year. Phyllis Trammell says underrated players this camp are Cam Sims and Dax Milne. Milne has been on it this camp. So I have Dax Milne on the outside looking in at the wide receiver spot. I have Alex Erickson right now making it over him, but I'm hearing nothing but good things from Dax Milne. I was listening to my colleagues on Locked On Commanders with David Harrison and Chris Russell. David Harrison said that Dax Milne, he's had a really good camp. He's really impressed with his route running. His route running has improved, and he's gotten bigger and stronger. So, AKA Mr. Still Your Girl. So I want to see what he does. Maybe he can prove me wrong and make this roster. Phyllis Trammell says Charles Leno is the best offensive lineman on the team, stonewalling whoever comes his way. So Charles Leno, he's holding it down. We need that left spot. We need that blind side. Hold it down for Carson Wentz. We know the Colts offensive line, their passing offensive line was ranked like 30th, dead last. I think it was per PFF or some website. So I think our offensive line is definitely an improvement for Carson Wentz than what he saw last year from the Colts. The Colts had a really good run blocking offense for sure. Rio Robinson, my guy, says Percy Butler just got a little too physical with Cole Turner on a tackle and Turner limped off, shaking my head. So Percy Butler, that's the thing. He needs to calm down a little bit. He sometimes he has one speed, which is 110% speed. So he needs to slow down a little bit, especially in practice. Don't want to see guys get hurt out there. So I didn't see the play, but Rio shook his head on that one. So I guess he did do a little too much, possibly injuring Cole Turner. John Connor says Cole Turner left the field, walked off on his own. Didn't see much of a limp. Currently in the 10th update later. Don't overreact. So I know a lot of fans are going to overreact because we've seen a lot of injuries with this team. So Ben Standing says the pads are back on, and Percy Butler's making an aggressive play. Stuffed a McKissick run on one play. Moments later, he crunched Cole Turner on the move after the tight end made a catch over the middle. Cole Turner a bit banged up after the contact. Zach Selby says same group is always catching punts. Jahan Dotson, Dax Milne, Trey McGowan, and Alex Erickson. So I haven't seen my guy Jaquez Ezzard back there returning punts per Zach Selby, but Trey McGowan, I want to see him in preseason. I'm intrigued by him. Like I said, I saw him, saw some highlights at Northwestern and Georgia Tech. I want to see what this guy can do. And Jahan Dotson, of course, he's explosive, but I don't, we don't want to see him get injured. So we'll see if he does actually return punts. David Harrison said Antonio Gibson let a pass bounce off his pads in 7-on-7 earlier, and just now had a botched exchange with Carson Wentz that was recovered by the defense, followed up with a nice route two plays later and a solid catch. So looks like Antonio Gibson was kind of all over the place. I know he hasn't practiced in a while. But sometimes the hands, man, the fumbling-itis that he had last year, leading all running backs in fumbles with 6 fumbles last year, got benched a couple times. That Chargers fumble still leaves a bad taste in my mouth on our own 2-yard line. So Antonio Gibson, man, Brian Robinson, he's breathing down his neck. If Gibson continues the fumbles, then Brian Robinson definitely could get more snaps for sure and more carries. Now Antonio Gibson, he shows the flashes and the talent there with a nice catch. He had a nice wheel route for a touchdown. So he shows you the great plays, and then, the fumbles are just like the red flags with Antonio Gibson. David Harrison says David Mayo is rotating with Jamin Davis on first-team reps at Commanders camp today. Felix Trammell says next play, Brian Robinson with a powerful run. Next play, Carson Wentz to Gibson back shoulder, lovely play. So these guys could be a dynamic duo, man. They really can. They could be a nice 1-2 punch, thunder and lightning, salt and pepper type duo, man. I'm telling you, seriously. This is from the Burgundy Zone on Twitter. They said Carson hits Antonio Gibson on stride on a wheel route and 11-on-11s for a first down. Burgundy Zone also says Taylor Heineke hits Sammy Reyes on a play action crosser for a big gain. So I'm happy to hear that about Sammy Reyes. I really am. David Harrison tweeted the same thing, saying Heineke off a play action with a rollout finds Sammy Reyes wide open for what would have been at least 20 yards with a run after the catch. Love to see it. Also, somebody retired today. It was a linebacker named Trey Walker. That's tough too. I mean, the linebacker depth is already thin, man. So this guy, Trey Walker, retiring, and then Drew White with an ACL injury. It's not, I don't know if these guys are really going to make the roster anyway, but they are thin, though. They are. John Kine says Cam Curl with an active day so far, recovered a fumble, filled the gap well on another run for a stop. Felix Trammell also says Taylor Heineke had a good game on a red zone keeper. So I'm happy to hear that about Taylor Heineke. He talked about the offense today, just saying they had a lot of weapons. And, if they have to hit the running backs, just hit the running backs. You got Gibson, Brian Robinson, and J.D. McKissick. Those are guys that can make big plays out of nothing, for sure. Burgundy Zone also says Taylor Heineke runs outside for a first down to Derek Forrest on the quarterback option. Ethan Cadell says David Mayo has been getting a lot more run with the ones today than Jamin Davis. Just made a nice red zone stuff. Zach Selby says going through goal line drills now. Heineke delivers a pass to Brian Robinson, who takes it in for the score. Brian Robinson has been catching a lot more passes than I thought he would. Looks good running routes, so that's good to hear from Brian Robinson, man. If he can be a pass catching threat out there too, man, this offense can be highly explosive. Ethan Cato says simulating goal to go from the 7. Carson Wentz just hit Antonio Gibson for a touchdown. Gibson beat Cameron Curl to the left pylon. So that's showing you again what Antonio Gibson can do as well as a receiver. David Harrison says great decision by Carson Wentz to work through progressions and hit Antonio Gibson for a touchdown on the near side of the field. Fans appreciate the decision making. So yeah, this is why I disagree with people saying that Carson Wentz doesn't use his running backs. Like I said, Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, he definitely threw passes to those guys for sure. Felix Trammell also says Heineke back and forced to scramble first play, then a touchdown to Alex Arma, the fullback. So other plays here, Zach Selby says Casey Toohill having a really good period, just grabbed a fumble and ran in the opposite direction. So good play from Casey Toohill there. Zach Selby also says the defense is really fired up for this session. Wentz had to throw a pass away looking for Amari Rodgers with Jamin Davis defending on the play. So Jamin Davis was making plays today. Let's see, here were some other plays. Phyllis Trammell says also next on 11-on-11 Davis is with the ones breaks up a pass. Looks like the watching helps. This is from Rhea Robinson Gibson with a fumble on 4th and goal. So that's what scares me with Antonio Gibson. It really does concern me for sure. But Ben Standing says Ron Rivera said Cole Turner's hamstring tightened up. So We'll see if he plays tomorrow in open practice. He was one of the guys that I said I want to see him, and I want to see Jahan Dotson. Those were the two guys that I really want to see. The two offensive rookies. I mean, Brian Robinson's an offensive rookie, so was Chris Paul and some other guys. But I really wanted to see the guys on the skill positions, Brian Robinson and Jahan Dotson. Those were the two guys I was looking for. So if Cole Turner's held out, it will be very disappointing. But I can understand the abundance of caution that Ron Rivera always talks about for sure. P. Haley says Jamin Davis had his best practice so far this summer, so he's noticed him on multiple occasions. An encouraging stretch there for Jamin Davis. I think that's truly about it. Yeah, Casey Toohill had 2 great stops on Antonio Gibson, who just fumbled on contact and landed right back into Casey Toohill's arm. So yeah, the fumbling is a concern. It's a concern. It's something that he definitely has to improve on for sure. It really is a concern. Definitely a concern there. So, all right, you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you guys tomorrow. Like I said, let me know if you guys are going to be there tomorrow. I'm definitely going to try to be there. I'm definitely going to be there for sure. So hopefully it doesn't rain, man. I know it rained yesterday with Hall of Fame game and whatnot. They finally played, but who knows what happens. So definitely going to be there for sure. It's going to be lit. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure. All right, you guys. Hail to the Commanders. Peace.